Although it's January and everything is in slow-mo, my garden is in slow-mo right now. Psh, look what we got here. We're still eating off the land. Welcome to the Row by Row Gardening Show, the best dadgum gardening show on the internet, where we talk about gardening, a little bit of cooking, and growing your own food. Now sit back and enjoy. Hey folks, I'm Greg.
I'm Sheila.
Welcome. If you've not joined us before, we are a gardening show that comes on every Thursday night on YouTube and Facebook. We're located here in South Georgia. We own a company called Hosstools that sells everything you need to help you grow your own food. And every Thursday night, we like to talk about gardening.
Right, and we have videos during the week to help teach you how to garden.
Our whole goal is what, Mama Hoss? Help you grow your own food. Yep. All right, so we got a couple of new seeds we're going to talk about today. We've got some new products we're bringing out for January for 2023. But first of all, even though we've been through a pretty rough little patch here with this hard freeze, and I probably got less growing in my garden right now than I've had in a long time, because some things got killed the cold weather, but we're still producing a good bit out of the garden. It's really amazing how well it's bounced back. And yeah, I'm getting geared up for spring already. I noticed myself getting excited about planting some stuff in the greenhouse.
This is all out of the lazy garden.
Really? Except for this.
Yeah, that and the onions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the lazy garden actually did better than cold. We covered it, but it did better than the cold than everything else did. So
what you got going on here?
Well, what we got here, and this is a beautiful spinach here that we've added to this. This is an Imperial full-length Italian type spinach right here. Look how green it is. I just fertilized this again so to keep it pumping along there. But that's spinach. That's a great one right there. We used to grow in those baby leaves, but we've added this Imperial type or Imperial variety this year. And
a little insect damage there?
Just a little bit. It ain't gonna bother nothing. They got these too. That one. How about this one right here? That's a good one there. A couple of little small holes in it. But this is a larger type leaf, and they call it an Italian type leaf. But I think this would be really good for stir fry.
Yeah, I may do that tonight. You
know, those baby spinach leaves are wonderful for eating raw in salads and everything, but they don't have as much mass to them as these full leaf foods. So I think stir fry would be this. We got that. Of course, we got broccoli. And I know it doesn't look very big, but broccoli's had a hard time as of late. And this, believe it or not, is the Godzilla variety, which is very, very unusual to make this small of a head. But I'm just lucky to have that after the cold. It did survive, and it's putting on some little small heads out there.
I think that might be a secondary shoot. I don't
Oh,
know.
really?
Yeah.
That's the secondary? Okay.
Yeah.
You harvested this earlier today. And we got some English peas, snow peas right here. I'm going to pop one of these up here. These are in the lazy garden.
So good. Do you know the cold, I think, made those better too?
Made them sweeter. And these things survived a 16-degree cold snap here. Now, we covered them.
Mine in my raised bed did not.
I know, but mine did. Did you cover yours?
Yeah.
Wow. I believe that lazy garden kind of insulated the soil a little bit and helped things pull out a little bit better. And
these almost didn't make it in the house.
Really? Look at here. Nice head of cauliflower. There again, not the largest we've ever grown, but we're just happy to have it after what it's been through. And this is twister variety.
Yeah, it did have the leaves all twisted around it.
You know, we probably, as far as our greens go, we probably had more cold damage in the lazy garden on cauliflower than we did anything else, as far as the things in the Nebraska family. But it survived, and we're getting harvest off of it, but they did take quite a hit. And of course, we got beets.
That's radish.
That's radish, excuse me. That is radishes. There's the beets underneath there. This is radishes right here. Radishes fared well. Beets are doing good. They're not quite big enough yet, but they're coming along. And look here at my beautiful ox hard carrots. They are coming along nice. And all this was grown in the lazy garden. Now this is an heirloom variety right here that doesn't get very long, but they get pretty big around there. So I'm really proud of these carrots right here, these ox heart carrots.
And in my garden, carrots is about all I got. Look at those carrots.
Yeah. Sheila, those are different varieties right there, okay? You can't compare, you're comparing apples to apples. You can't do that.
I know, but look at those pretty carrots.
They are pretty.
And they didn't split this time
And you grew those in your raised
in
beds.
my raised beds.
Why did they not split?
Okay, so when I was preparing the soil this time, for about 4 weeks, every week I would go out there and fluff it up, just take a garden fork and turn it over.
And you have plenty, or did you add more organic matter in
I
as you do it?
added the worm compost, and I did add some of the gin.
Compost.
And the only fertilizer I put in there was the
Complete organic.
complete organic. At the beginning, they have had nothing on them at all.
Well, looks like they had everything they needed.
But back to the preparing the soil, every week I would take that garden fork and fluff it up to about 12 inches and then wet it down so those microbes had good moisture in there. And I did that until I planted them. And then, of course, the trick is keeping them moist until they germinate.
Right.
And I did thin them out this time.
So how far did you thin them out? I mean, how far apart? Just roughly say, a couple of inches?
Yeah.
Nice.
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 And
I have to say myself, although this variety is never going to get that
no,
long.
but
Now,
it
this
should
is
get a lot
different.
fatter.
It's going to get bigger. It's a little early yet.
I'm proud of you, though. At
I
least
think
they germinated.
They
for
did
you
germinate.
this
They
year.
come up, so I'm doing good.
Yeah.
It's a little different. But from all this right here, we have today, it's what we're eating.
Yeah. Oh, and let me talk about, won't you taste your salad? So we took all these vegetables here, and even the spinach, and made a fresh salad. Now, there is a few olives and some cheese in there that's not from the garden, but everything else is from the garden.
And what about the salad dressing?
This is some fermented pepper sauce I made. And I added some paprika and a little mayo. I think it's gonna take much, but you can have more.
Okay.
Tell me what you think.
All right.
So during the month of February, I have been asked to participate with the Fermented Homestead. It's a collaboration of a bunch of different YouTubers, and for the whole month of February, every day there's going to be a video on fermenting. So mine is scheduled, if nothing changes, on February 14th. So it'll be on our channel. And we'll have links to all the other. There's going to be giveaways every week, a big giveaway at the end. We're sponsoring some gifts. There's a lot of other things. And I think what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to take these carrots and show you how to ferment them.
Now, who is kind of the head of this type deal? This
The Fermented Homestead channel.
Fermented Homestead channel?
Yeah. Carrie's got some emails. Carrie's been in contact with her. And I watched them all last year. And that's where I got a lot of my ideas from. So I'm excited. So stay tuned for that February 14th, which is easy to remember because
It's your birthday.
it's Valentine's Day.
And your birthday.
And my birthday.
Yep. Back to the salad.
Okay.
Salad is very good. Spinach adds a different dimension to the texture because we're used to eating salad. The salad dressing is a little strong.
Yeah, that's why I
It's a
said
little
don't
strong. I
put
didn't
too
realize
much
what
on
we was
there.
getting into there, but it's a little strong.
It's got our limes, fresh limes in there too. How does the spinach taste compared to lettuce?
Spinach is really good. It's just a different texture.
Chewy?
It's a chewier texture than what we're used to.
So today's show, when you finish up, we're going to talk about, our main topic is what you can be doing in January. And a lot of people get what in January? Cabin fever?
We do, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, I am too. I'm just itching to get out there and start some seeds in the greenhouse. But I'm trying to, did we talk about those new seeds? I jumped here.
Yep, so we're going to, a couple new seeds right here. First one is green boy cabbage, and this was new for 2023. Now, green boy cabbage is a medium type head variety of cabbage. And, you know, here in our area, one of the most popular varieties is Cheers. Everybody grows cheers cabbage here. But this one right here is not going to make the biggest head out there, but it's good adaptability to different regions. It's going to do good pretty much all over. It's a good standard variety, and it's going to do well in late spring and early fall.
So could you plant it now?
You could plant it now, but I think it's going to be better suited for maybe a little later planting. I think it's going to do well maybe as a spring plant instead of a late winter or early spring plant.
Direct seed it, or?
I would grow this right here in the plant and transplant it like I do most of my other cabbages. Cheers is a great variety. I love to grow it during the wintertime. But this one here, and you know, we've got to the point we don't like those big head cabbage. We have quit growing those jumbo head cabbages so much and grow with the smaller heads because that's all we need.
Well, yeah.
It's just two of us. So, a medium-sized head, great adaptability, grows everywhere, good heat tolerance. So this is going to be a good all-around variety to go with right there. And it is green boy cabbage, new for 2023. And here, folks, we have Mr. Top Chop Collard. Top Chop is a new collard, and it's from Cicada, which they also have Top Bunch collard. And Top Bunch collard has been the staple for the last few years in the commercial collard growing farmer industry. However, it is a good one. It's mild. It has everything that we like in a collard nowadays. We like a lower growing collard, a shorter collard, a sweeter collard, and one that we can, you know, cut in smaller bunches than we did the old style big leaf ones. And I tell people all the time, do you like collards? They said, no, I really don't. I eat them when I was a boy. Well, if you hadn't eaten collards, you okay? If you hadn't eaten collards lately, they taste different than they used to. Because the collards we got new varieties out there, and they're more
strong.
They're more mellow, and they're sweeter than.
And then when you cook them, it don't stink up the whole house.
No. So, let's see, here we go. I want to talk about this Top Chop a little bit because I think this is it right here. So I'm going to put this down and where you guys can see this right here. As you see how short of a variety it is, it's one of those shorter bunch of varieties. The commercial guys like to cut these things in these small bunches like that right there and sell them in the grocery store. Now Top Chops, where its claim to fame is going to come in, it's slow bolting. So Top Bunch, which looks real similar to this and has pretty much the same characteristics as the Top Chop does, will bolt pretty easy. When I say bolt, it will go to seed, bloom out pretty quick in the hot weather. Late spring and early fall, you're gonna have a little bit of problems with Top Bunch going out on you. That's where this one right here comes in. A good variety for that because it's slow bolting. So for late spring planting, early fall planting, I think this is the one to go to right here. And this one survived the cold really well. I did cover it, got down to 16 degrees. Let me see if I can find a little cold damage right there. Can you see that part right there? That's cold damage.
And right there.
Yep, that's a little cold damage there. Looks like mildew, but it's not, it's cold damage. And now one of the things
Now, are you supposed to trim the bad leaves off?
I did, I would. I wanted to show that, or I would have trimmed them off. They have really put out new growth in the last few days, so we got plenty there to eat off of. Now, this was the breeder. I talked to the breeder about this variety here, and they said it will darken up when cold weather hits. But I didn't see much of that. I was expecting to see a lot more darker. They talk about darker.
That's the ones I cooked for New Year's Day?
It's the one, they say that it'll turn purplish when the cold weather hits. I did not see that in my garden. I was expecting
it. It's a little purple too.
It's a little bit. There's a little bit on that tip, but not as much as what I was anticipating. Of course, from a home garden standpoint, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. I mean, it eats just as good. But I didn't see it. A lot of times when you have those purple in the leaves, it's because of phosphorus deficiency. We may have had better soils. I don't know. Really impressed with this variety right here. I would put it up against with Top Bunch. I would still grow the Top Bunch, but I would grow this one in my slots in late spring and early fall. There you have it, folks. Top Bunch collards. That's Top Chop, excuse me. Top Bunch and Top Chop.
Top Chop.
Top Chop.
I really like the spinach. I love the texture.
I love the spinach too, yeah. It's just, you have to get out of that mindset. It doesn't taste like your regular icebox lettuce does.
No, but it's a good change.
Yep. All right, a couple more things we got new. We did a live on this other night, folks. If you missed out on that, this right here is the premium medicinal herb collection that we got out that we're doing in conjunction with Just Dig It Farms. Sunday night we did a debut live. We did a live with them, and we brought these out. We talked about each one of them. Tracy is absolutely a encyclopedia when it comes to these herbs here, so we're working with her. So check that out right there.
We'll have the links in the description below.
The deluxe, I believe, is $49.99, and the premium is $64.99.
Or reverse.
And is it reversed?
I don't know.
I think I got it right. And then you get all kind of plant labels in there with a card. Everything. It's a great deal. We're excited about growing herbs this year.
I'm just gonna have the plant labels somewhere.
All right, and this is the next one right here. This is something I've been working on for a while. Now this right here is a regular 10-10-10, but what's unique about this 10-10-10 fertilizer is it has the minor elements in it. So the micronutrients in it, which is a very unusual for a regular 10-10-10, but we have brought out a Hoss, what we call it, the all-in-one general purpose fertilizer right here, and it also has calcium in it as well. So it's a great all-around fertilizer to use in your garden. It's not organic for you guys out there who want the synthetic fertilizer in a small package. This
So
is
you side dress with that?
5 pounds. Side dress, you can use it at planting. They would call that pre-plant, or you could either side dress with it, or you could incorporate it into your soil before you plant. That also, I guess, would be pre-plant. But here you have it, folks, right there. Nice
that
little
storage container.
Yeah, it's reusable.
It's got a handle?
Yep, got a handle on there. And the neat thing about it, it's resealable, so you can pull this off, and you can put it back down. Now, all these granulars in here have all the nutrients in each granular, so they won't separate out. You've seen fertilizers before that some of the particle size was smaller and it would shake down to the bottom. This right here isn't like that. All the particles have all the nutrients in it, so you don't have to worry about it separating out for you on different particle size. It's pretty consistent there. So that's a good one right there.
You said it's really good for
all in one.
For corn.
Yeah, it's good for corn.
But also heavy feeding crops, tomatoes, onions, peppers.
Yep, so the key to it here is, and I'll tell you, I did a lot of research, did a lot of work on this right here. It has ammoniacal and nitrate nitrogen in there. So sometimes plants will only take up or prefer one type of nitrogen, whether it be nitrates or ammoniacal. So this has both of them in there, so it covers all the bases of that. It has calcium in there, it has a little bit of sulfur in there. You could use this on your onions. So if you just had a small little bitty garden or some containers, and you don't want to get it real complicated, you just want one fertilizer for everything, that's it right there. All in one. It'll work on everything. Nightshades, onions, all of it.
Okay.
10-10-10, and that means 10% nitrogen, 10% phosphorus, and 10% potassium. And all your micronutrients in there. Good also for your broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage. Spinach, all that. All right, so we're talking about garden task.
You've been busy this last week.
I've been busy cleaning up, working on the new garden. So this is what I've been doing, and I'll kind of share this with you guys to make sure that you kind of getting on the same board, because sometimes I get a little lazy in the garden and things get ahead of me. I went ahead and started working up some of my plots. And the reason I did that is for those early crops that we plant in the springtime, such as broccoli and cauliflower and those kind of things. So we will do a planting probably sometime in February of all those brassicas again, because I'm planting them in the greenhouse now. It takes me about 4 weeks to grow them out. And then we got those things that we like direct seed, carrots, not carrots, excuse me. Although you can grow carrots in the springtime, radish, beets and that kind of thing. We'll put another plant of those in, and potatoes time. So I got a couple of plots I've already started working up, and I will continue to work those to have those ready for around February 15th.
When you say working up, what do you mean?
Till. I went there and tilled it up and working some.
Pre-plant fertilizer.
I did not put in pre-plant fertilizer. I won't do that until right before I plant. But I'm getting the soil worked up and getting those weeds.
Like what I did for the carrots.
Yeah, and getting those cover crops worked into the to the soil there. So when it comes time, now what I could do is come in and put a tarp over it and hold it, or I can just leave it out there and keep it turned every couple of weeks. So I'm gonna do some of both probably.
The main thing is don't get too far ahead in planting your plants.
Don't get too far ahead and don't get too far behind.
Yeah, because they'll get too big for you, and then the weather won't be right.
I'm not following you.
You're not following me?
No.
So like we don't need to go ahead and plant tomatoes.
Oh, no.
Even though.
No. I'm talking about brassicas.
Yeah.
So we'll plant cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, things like that in the greenhouse and have them ready for February. I won't plant my tomatoes till February 10th, 15th, somewhere there, right there, yeah. We don't want to jump the gun on that.
So how do you figure when you need to start that stuff in the greenhouse?
On your brassicas, I figure 4 to 5 weeks. Normally I can grow them out in 4 weeks, but you know, sometimes people say 5 weeks. I can get with that, but normally I figure 4 weeks on my cabbage, my broccoli, my cauliflower, even Brussels sprouts, things like that. In the greenhouse, the transplant stage.
But your tomatoes, don't you have to look at your last frost date?
I do, but I won't plant those to February. So I will look at, and I normally plant those, it takes me 6 weeks to grow.
So you look at your last frost date and you back up 6 weeks?
And I'll back it up 6
and
weeks.
plant in the greenhouse.
And that date for us in Zone 8 is February 10th to 15th.
Really?
And for peppers too. Peppers can be a little slower sometimes, so you can maybe shoot it up a week on the peppers, or
You use that germination mat?
I do use the germination mat. I don't use it as much. I use it on my brassicas, but it comes in more important on the tomatoes and peppers than it does to brassicas. You know, and it's time to reflect back a little bit on what we did last year and what we're going to do different. So last year was actually a good garden year for me. We did have some extreme heat that moved in here in July that kind of wiped things out and caused the garden to get over with a little bit earlier, but I had a decent garden last year.
You did.
One thing I'm going to do this year is I'm going to plant more winter squash than I did last year, because we really love winter squash. And I didn't grow as many of them.
Yeah, and I planted my winter squash. Was it too early or too late? Mine
Too
did
late,
not
I
do well.
think. Too late.
I got some fungus and some
You had some
squash bug.
issues.
I had some issues.
But I'm going to tell you, that's a hot spell we had during July caused a lot of issues for a lot of different folks. So it was it was good gardening up to that, but it was a little tough after that. We made an extremely good fall garden.
Yeah, my peppers was, I think, what did the best. And I think it was the heat.
All right.
Not the heat.
So I'm going to plant more winter squash this year and maybe more varieties. What will you do different in your raised bed garden?
Well, I hope to have the new raised bed garden ready, and I'm going to plant a lot more herbs. That's going to be my focus.
Any other changes?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe succession planting. Do
Oh, yeah, I had talked about it.
thought you did.
Got lost in my salad there.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to do some succession planting.
You want to do a better job managing your garden.
Yeah, so I don't have an explosion of something at once. Plant smaller amounts more frequently so it's spread out.
Yep. And another thing that we'll be planting in the next little bit is going to be turnips, mustard, our direct seeded crops. And then the next thing you know, potatoes. Potatoes will be in, we're getting our first shipment in tomorrow, we hope tomorrow, which will be Friday. And so we hope to be shipping out Monday to our southern guys, our friends down in Florida and South Louisiana. You guys that want to plant your potatoes in January, we're going to be getting your potatoes out next week. So excited about that.
Yeah. So soil testing
Soil testing, you
is
know,
really important. You forgot that?
no, I didn't forget about it, but I feel like I harp on this too much and go on and on. But soil testing, now's the time to do that.
We need to do our new area.
Yes, we need to do our new area. We're going to have to do it. Now's the time to pull your soil sample, get it sent off, find out what you need to do to that pH to get it adjusted, because it takes 2 to 3 months. If you do have to apply some lime to have an effect on that right there. Normally speaking, this is just normally speaking, you want to shoot for a pH between 6.0 and 7.0. And you can make that adjustment with adding some lime if you need to raise it. If you need to lower it, different story. Make sure you do a soil sample before you apply anything.
Seeds. You see everybody inventorying their seeds.
Yep.
Everybody's getting seed catalogs.
Right.
Getting ready.
Yep. We've had a lot of calls the last few days. Now I will tell you, I had a conversation with customer service here this morning. This happens every year. We've got pretty much all new seeds in that we're going to get in, with the exception corn, beans, and peas continue to trickle in. Within the next few weeks, we should have those in, but we do not have fresh bean seed on some varieties in right now. So don't get caught up in buying your bean seed or your pea seed or maybe even your corn seed too early, because if you hold off, you can get last year's crop. We run into this every year.
Yeah, we had a lot of calls yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're temporarily out of them, but we are expecting them in.
And the reason we're out of them is because we're waiting on new crop to come in.
Yeah, we want new.
So don't get caught up in ordering those things too early. You can go ahead and order your tomatoes, peppers, things like that. We got those. We've had those probably a couple, 3 weeks, so we're in good shape there. It's those dead gum beans and peas, and some of the corn. So we're waiting on Jimmy Red to come in.
Mm-hmm. Is there going to be a shortage on anything?
Oh man, I don't anticipate right now being a large shortage. There is a movement. There is some things happening in the seed industry that's going to, I think, in the next few years cause some issues. I can go into that for another complete show. I'm actually going to ASTA, which is the largest seed trading meeting in Orlando in a couple of weeks, the end of January. So I have more idea when I get back from down there. But it is, I'm telling you, breeders from all over the world coming there. And we have a 3-day meeting. So I'm excited about that to kind of find out.
You want to take your camera with you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Find out what's going on. Talk to some people that's been in the industry a long time. Find out. There has been some mergers within the heirloom and open pollinated seed industry. So there's going to be some small changes there in the next few years. Okay. So. No shortages, I wouldn't say that. I won't scare anybody thinking there's any huge shortages. There's the typical stuff that we have every year, like peas. You know, we just have limited supply on them. But that's pretty much about it.
Well, last thing, compost.
I went and got me a load of compost today. It's time to go ahead and start stocking up on compost. I actually have a friend that's got a poultry farm, and I'm gonna get me some chicken litter. Yeah, I'm gonna get some chicken litter. Go ahead and get all this in preparation, and I will go ahead and start adding compost to some of my spots pretty quick. Yep.
And then if you said earlier, it's okay to get it ready, and if you're not ready to plant, throw a tarp over it.
Yes, but speaking of that, I had this conversation yesterday with a customer, and they was wanting to know if they needed to plant any more cover crops. Yes, there is a point now where you could use cover crops. You would use these in-between cover crops.
Hold it.
If you got a spot that you're not going to be planting until May, yeah, you can go ahead and get you a cool weather cover crop on that and get that organic matter and all worked into the soil and grow that cover crop up till somewhere before May to start getting, work it back into the soil. My daikon radishes cover crop, I thought I had lost those, but they're coming back from the cold. So yeah, and that's a great one. If you got one that you worried you're not going to be able to extinguish and work into the soil and get your plot back up and going real quick, that daikon radish is the one to go with there. It's easy. It does a wonderful job of breaking up the soil and adding organic matter and scavenging those nutrients. But the great thing about it is it's easy to get rid of.
And you can eat it.
And you can
I saw somebody fermenting it on a video the other day.
Yep.
You got some big enough up there?
Not quite big enough, but it makes a huge radish, yeah. Yeah. All right, so there you have it. You could still get some cover crops in, but make sure if you do, it's in a spot or a plot that's going to be used later in the year. I would not at this point use cover crops on a spot I was planning on putting my potatoes on.
So let us know in the comments what you're doing in your garden in January. And also, we need some garden pictures for our garden spotlight. So we'll throw up a screen here. If you go on our Hoss University tab, there's a place that you can email us your garden photos so we can have you in our garden spotlight. Speaking
of garden spotlight, this week is from Earl Striplin in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Earl is in Zone 8.
7.
Yeah, excuse me, Zone 7. And Earl has more of an urban garden. You can tell he's got kind of a smaller area there, but he does a great job of using what he's got there. Look at those
all
raised
different
beds.
kind of containers.
Yep. Onions, looks like he's got onions doing good in his raised beds. He's got some greens growing right there. And man, look at his raised bed in this container operation out there. Ain't that cool? Earl's got it going on. He's getting ready for spring. Got some trellises going on there. Thank you, Earl, for sending in your pictures and being part of our garden spot last week. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Actually, I just grabbed those off our Row by Row group.
These?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are not Earl's pictures?
They're Earl's pictures.
Oh.
But he posted them on Row by Row.
Okay.
He didn't send them in.
I said, surely I'm not sure his pictures are not Earl's. Yeah. I'm telling you, he's got it going on with those beds.
There was a lot more pictures on there. He had a really neat setup there.
And folks, if you're not a member of our Row by Row group, we have a group on Facebook called Row by Row. That's a gardening group. Great bunch of people there, and we like to share your gardening ideas. You can ask your questions. A lot of people give you good information there. It's just a good group to be a part of.
Old goat.
Old goat. So folks, the old goat figurine somewhere on the set, and every week we have a drawing for the old goat if you can find it.
Yeah.
Put in the comments below where the old goat is, and
for last week, draw the winner.
D. Birdwell.
And Dee, we're going to send you some sunflower seeds, a whole 1 pound.
Whole 1 pound sunflower seeds. D. Send us your shipping address to hosstools.com and we'll get that in the mail to you. I think there's a Pro Cuts.
Yeah.
There's a mixture of Pro Cuts.
Yeah, there won't be a name on here. It's some they got mislabeled in our seed room.
But they're all good seeds.
They're all good seed. They're just, it'll be a surprise.
Yep. All right, folks, thank you for joining us. We hope you're still excited about growing your own food. Although it is January, there's still plenty to do, still plenty to think about growing our own food. Thank you for watching. Now it's time for you to get off that couch and get outside and get dirty.